Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today we'll be making this tissue box holder. It uses the travel size Kleenex packages or tissues, and it's used to make somebody's day when they're maybe have the sniffles or just not quite feeling good. So let's get started making this cute little project. I spied this tissue holder on Elaine Wright's blog. Thanks Elaine for sharing it with us. And I devised a way of how she made it probably, and I'll share that with you here today. What we're going to need is a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cut long ways. So this is cut at 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to need a strip of designer paper. The one that I had is double-sided, which is very handy, and we'll see why here in a second. And this was cut at 4 by 12, and we're going to cut that a little farther into a 4 by 4 1/4, another one 4 and 4 by 4 1/4, 4 by 2 1/4, and 4 by, this is 4 by 3/8. Okay, so that's the cuts for our designer paper. And then we want to take our cardstock using Whisper White, and we're going to score it. We're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, at 3 inches, 4 inches, and 6 1/2. And so what that will give us is a 1/2 inch area, a 2 1/2, a 1 inch, another 2 1/2, and then a 4 1/2 inch. So I've gone ahead and got that scored for us already. And the first thing that I like to do is get my designer paper down first. That way it's just easier to manipulate before we put the box together. So today I'm going to use Tombow all the way through the project, with the exception of the sticky strip right at the end. Whoops, get this coming. So kind of like those old, I think it was Brill Cream commercials, you guys, if that dates me a little bit, but it's that whole "a little dab will do ya." That is true with Tombow as well. Okay, so just put a little dot here and there. And I'm going to put one of my 4 1/2, or I'm sorry, my 4 by 4 1/4 sections up here at the top. This is where it was scored at 4 1/2. I'm white on this one at the 6 inch mark. Then I'm going to flip it to the back side and put in the same area there. Now this is where designer paper that's two-sided comes in handy, because if I wanted to, I could go ahead and make like each side look a little different, but I love this floral image that's on the designer paper Sunny Garden, and so I want to keep using the floral image. Go ahead and get that done, or down. Okay, and like I said, I have all of these pre-scored, and of course we want to make sure that we got nice crisp edges. You'd want to get out your bone folder and do that. And that's how it's going to come together to make our Kleenex box, or our tissue box. Okay, so this is going to be, you know, the side that is facing forward that we'll put the flower on. And it'll be these sides here that I want to decorate. So for here, I want to go ahead and, let's go ahead and we'll use, I'll do it slightly different than the project here, just so that you could see how we get things put together. Oops, before I do that, what I want to do is punch out our little oval here where we're going to put the tissue comes back up through. Okay, so I'm going to fold this under. I'm going to fold the 1/2 inch flap. And I guess before I do that, I'd like to measure in between here and just make sure that I'm kind of getting where the halfway mark is. I made a couple of these and I was slightly off. So I'm going to measure this 2 1/2 inch section here and kind of come in halfway point at 1 1/4 and just make a little mark. That way I know where to center my oval punch. Okay, this is the smallest oval punch in the current catalog. And again, I'm folding down the flap, and the reason why I need to fold it down is that if I tried to put the whole the punch in, I can't quite get to that halfway part. But if I fold up that 1/2 inch mark and bring my punch in, now I can get to my dot. Alrighty, make sure looks about right, and we'll get that punched. Okay, so that's how we get the oval in. Now I'm ready to flip this over and decorate the top part of it. Okay, so this will be my back side this go around. Again, let's put a couple little dots of Tombow. Tombow's will give you a little bit of play, but it'll dry nice and secure, which is what we want for this project. Okay, I'm going to temporarily cover up my hole that I just made the oval opening. Okay, we'll get that down. And when I put the Tombow on, I was careful not to put any glue in the center because we're just going to turn right around and punch it out anyways. Going to fold back over my little lip area there, that 1/2 inch. Come back over, line it up, and punch that out. And then that's how I get that opening. I'm going to get some coordinating cardstock here. This is Poppy Parade. Take that same size of oval, and I'll get that punched. And I have the scallop oval, and I'm going to punch out a little border around it. And then this will just kind of gives a nice little decorated element for where the tissue pops out. Okay, so again, take my Tombow, put a couple of dots around it. Get my ring, put that on. So a little more contrasting color. If I was going to do this again, I'd probably use the peach parfait or maybe even Whisper White to trim that out. I think it just pops it a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and take our 4 by 3/4 of an inch strip. Whoops, get some Tombow on it. What I liked about the measurements that I came up with for this is that you could get 2 tissue boxes out of one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and as well as, you know, with one 12 by 12 double-sided designer paper, same thing. You can get, you know, you get with 3/4 of a, or 2/3 of a piece of designer paper of a 12 by 12, you could make it, so you can get good use out of it. Okay, so that's our little tissue box, how it's folding together. The last thing is we need to get some sticky strip on here. Don't want to use Tombow for this. We need something that's going to be super duper strong, and when we know that, that calls for sticky strip. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and peel off my sticky strip. And what I found that I like to do is, I've got my tissue box here. I'd like to go ahead and stage that when I'm wrapping it. It just kind of helps me make sure that I've got things where I want them. Okay, because once sticky strip gets down, it's down. Okay, looks pretty good. And there's our little tissue box. We just pull up the inside of it then. So now it's just a matter of decorating it how you want. I think that the Get Well Wishes from the Itty Bitty stamp set, or the Teeny Tiny Wishes stamp set, is perfect for this, especially with the tissues. You know, maybe somebody's out, you know, under the weather. So I got the Get Well Wishes. So what I've done is, ahead of time, I went ahead and stamped that and punched out with the word window, layered it on the modern label. Put a little dimensional on the back, and we'll stick that on here. Okay, next what I did is I cut out the images from our new die that's in the Occasions Mini. It's Fun Flowers, and I took the coordinating inks of Peach Parfait and Poppy Parade, and using my sponge daubers, I created the color tones that you see here. So what I did is I had inked up my daubers and just kind of started and made little starbursts. Okay, so I edged all the way around, and then I'm coming in and kind of filling up these little starburst areas here. So we'll do this bigger image here together. Kind of get a nice, gradual color tone that you can show bleeding into the leaves. They will cover up a little bit, so you don't have to get every nook and cranny, but I just like that blended look to it. So pretty. Okay, so I've got all of my images colored that I want, and now I'm just going to crinkle these all up together. Get my scissors out of the road here. And that's how I'll make this crinkled flower look. And there's something about crinkling it that makes it look more like a flower for me. Then if you wanted to, you could come back over with the sponge daubers and really hit those crinkled peaks and valleys. Okay, so what I did next to make this is I'm going to go ahead and layer all of these together using dimensionals. So kind of build the flower petal from the layers. And then even this little center image got made using that too. I've been using fun flowers like crazy. Don't know if you guys have been playing with yours or not. Okay, so there's our little flower that we made. And then on mine, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I put some dazzling diamonds around it just to get some sparkle. So you could do that if you wanted to. For the purpose of this video, I'll just go ahead and probably would put a couple of the dimensionals on the back. Take our tissue holder, put our little embellishment on the top, and then that completes it. And then if you wanted to, you could also decorate the back of it. That would be especially cute if this was going to be sitting on somebody's desk. That way when people approach their desk, they could have a little, see a little flower or something on that side too, but then the person that you give the tissue holder to, they get the whole view here. Okay, so that's our tissue holders. I hope you guys enjoy making them. Thanks for stopping by. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.